At the party, she spots her ex and introduces her millionaire boss as her boyfriend, until one kiss. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us return to our main character. Lena Hart presses her back against the marble column, trying to steady her breathing as the ballroom of the Westmont Hotel glows with champagne-colored chandeliers. Laughter drifts through the air, the kind that belongs to people who have never worried about rent or overdue bills. She adjusts the strap of her thrifted navy dress, hoping no one notices the stitching she had to redo by hand. She had promised herself tonight would be simple. Attend the charity gala as part of her job. Smile politely. Take notes. Go home. That is it. Nothing dramatic. But the universe has other plans. Across the room, through a parting wave of glittering gowns and tailored suits, Lena's eyes lock onto a face she prayed she would never have to see again. Evan, the ex who walked out the same week she lost her last job, leaving only one sentence behind. I cannot build a future with someone who has nothing. Her stomach twists. He is here, laughing, holding champagne, whispering into the ear of a new date who looks like she stepped out of a luxury magazine. And before Lena can hide, Evan's gaze sweeps the room and lands on her. He smirks. Heat floods her cheeks. She takes one shaky step back and bumps into a firm shoulder. She turns and freezes. Adrian Cole, her billionaire boss, the man known for boardroom steeliness, impossible standards, and a jawline that looks carved from cold intention. Tonight, he is in a crisp black suit, tie loosened slightly, eyes cool as winter river water. He raises a brow. Is something wrong, Lena? She opens her mouth, but nothing comes out. Evan is now walking toward them. Every horrible memory, every humiliation, every moment she had to rebuild herself from zero returns like a punch to the chest. She cannot face him alone. Not again. Not tonight. The words slip out before she can think. Adrian, please, pretend you are my boyfriend. Just for tonight, please. For a moment, Adrian simply studies her, the way he analyzes a contract. He glances at Evan approaching, then back at Lena's trembling hands. Something shifts in his expression. He steps closer, lowering his voice. If that is what you need, I will play along. Her breath catches. She did not expect him to agree. She barely knows him outside the office. But before she can react, Adrian's hand gently settles on the small of her back. Warm, steady, intentional. Evan reaches them. Well, Evan says, dragging his gaze over Adrian with thinly veiled disbelief. Lena, it has been a long time. And who is this? Adrian answers for her, his tone smooth and controlled. I am Adrian, Lena's boyfriend. The word hangs in the air like a spark. Lena feels her heart stutter, and Evan's smile falters for the first time. She should feel victorious. She should feel justified. But instead, she feels the weight of Adrian's hand and the heat of a moment that does not feel entirely like acting. And this is only the beginning. Adrian's words still echo in the air, steady and confident, as Evan forces a strained smile. The tension between the three of them is unmistakable, and Lena can almost hear her own heartbeat beneath the orchestra's mellow music. She feels Adrian's hand still resting against her back, a reminder that this is all an act, a fragile shield she begged him to wear for her sake. Evan clears his throat. Well, Lena, you certainly moved on quickly. Congratulations. There is a sharpness in his tone, the kind meant to slice through her composure. It works for a moment. Her throat tightens, but Adrian speaks before she can falter. She did not move on quickly, Adrian says calmly. She moved on correctly. Evan's expression flickers. That was not the answer he expected. Guests begin drifting closer, recognizing Adrian. Whispers spread. That is Adrian Cole. Is he really dating her? I did not know he had a girlfriend. Lena tries to stand tall, but the sudden attention wraps around her like a spotlight she never asked for. She feels exposed, but Adrian leans slightly toward her and murmurs, "You are doing fine." A waiter passes with champagne. Adrian takes 2 glasses, offers one to Lena, and gently guides her away before Evan can follow. They stop near the edge of the ballroom, where a tall glass wall looks out over the city lights. As traffic shimmers far below, Lena tries to steady her breath. "I am sorry," she whispers. "I should not have dragged you into this." "You asked for help," Adrian replies. "That is not dragging, that is choosing someone you trust." Trust. The word lands heavier than she expects. She studies him for a moment. His expression is unreadable, but his presence feels unexpectedly grounding. She did not think a man like him, built from steel, schedules, and headlines, could offer comfort. Yet here he is, offering it effortlessly. A nearby camera flash bursts, and both turn instinctively. A small group of attendees is watching them with interest. Adrian straightens slightly. "If we are going to convince them, we should not stand apart like we are negotiating." His tone softens. "May I?" He extends a hand. Lena hesitates only a second before placing her hand in his. It feels warm, steady, almost dangerously natural. Adrian draws her closer, just enough for the room to see, but not enough to cross any line she would fear. They hold the pose as another camera snaps. "Relax," he says softly. "This is just part of the act." But her pulse does not feel like she is acting. Suddenly, Evan returns with his new date at his side, wearing a triumphant grin that suggests he has something to prove. "So Adrian," Evan begins, "how long have you two been together?" Lena feels the question slice through the fragile calm. Her mind goes blank. There is no script, no prepared lie. But Adrian does not blink. "Long enough," he answers, voice low and certain. "And long enough to know she deserves far better than the way you treated her." Evan stiffens. The room goes quiet again, eyes shifting toward them. Lena feels a strange mix of vindication and embarrassment flood her chest. Adrian's defense feels too real, too personal, and she does not know how to process it. Evan scoffs and steps closer. "You know she is your employee, right? This looks unethical." The air chills. Lena's breath catches. This was the risk she feared, the line they should not cross, the lie that could hurt Adrian. Before she can speak, Adrian steps forward, placing himself slightly in front of her. "We are not discussing my company tonight," he says evenly. "We are attending a charity event. If you are concerned about ethics, perhaps start by examining your own." Evan's date tugs his sleeve, embarrassed. Evan glares, but he retreats a small step. Lena looks at Adrian, truly seeing him now. He is protecting her, not just pretending. And that terrifies her more than anything Evan could say. Because for the first time tonight, the fake relationship feels like it is shifting, bending under a weight she does not understand yet. And the night is far from over. The music swells again as Evan finally steps back, but the atmosphere around Lena and Adrian has shifted. Conversations nearby soften to murmurs, as if the room itself is waiting to see what will happen next. Lena swallows hard, wishing her heartbeat would calm. Adrian's presence is strong beside her, yet something fragile trembles inside her chest. A server approaches with a tray of desserts, giving them a brief excuse to move away from the lingering stares. Adrian guides her toward a quieter corner near the balcony doors. "You handled that well," he says. "I was shaking the entire time," she admits. He studies her for a moment, not with judgment, but with a kind of quiet understanding she never expected from him. "You stood your ground anyway. That matters more." The compliment lands deeper than she wants to admit. She turns slightly toward the city beyond the glass. The night sky reflects across the windows like a second universe, glittering and distant. She wishes her thoughts were as orderly as those lights. "Adrian," she says softly, "I really did not mean for this to impact your reputation." He shakes his head once. "My reputation can withstand far more than a rumor about a relationship." Then he pauses. "But yours cannot. That is why we have to be careful." The reminder sends a cold ripple through her. This is temporary. A performance. A shield. Nothing more. She nods, even though her chest tightens. A burst of laughter rises from the center of the ballroom. Lena turns and sees a small crowd forming. Someone gestures toward her and Adrian. They are becoming part of the evening's entertainment. A story whispered across champagne glasses. Adrian notices too. "They are expecting us to act like a couple," he says quietly. "Otherwise your ex will think he was right." Lena inhales slowly. Right about what? That you are alone, Adrian answers. The truth of it stings. She looks down, but Adrian steps a little closer, close enough for her to feel his warmth through the thin fabric of her dress. Lena, he says gently, I know this is uncomfortable, but if you want to finish what we started, we need to stay convincing. She lifts her eyes to his. For a moment, the noise of the gala fades, leaving only the two of them suspended in a space that feels strangely intimate. All right, she whispers. Tell me what to do. Adrian nods, and his voice lowers into something calm and steady. We walk back to the crowd. You stay by my side. If someone speaks to us, answer naturally. Look at me from time to time. Couples do that. Her cheeks warm. Look at you? Yes, he says. Like you want to be here with me. She tries to laugh, but the sound catches. There is something in his tone that feels too real, too close to something she is not ready to name. They walk together toward the chandeliers and the polished floor where clusters of guests mingle. Adrian keeps her hand lightly wrapped in his, not possessive, just present. People turn toward them instantly. Oh, there they are, someone whispers. They look beautiful together, another says. Lena feels her pulse jump, but she forces herself to keep her shoulders relaxed. Adrian leans slightly toward her and murmurs, You are doing very well. A board member approaches with his spouse, eager to meet the woman who has captured Adrian's attention. Lena braces herself, but Adrian handles the introductions with a relaxed ease she has never seen in the office. He does not minimize her. He does not gloss over her role. He presents her with respect she has not felt in years. This is Lena, he says with a warm certainty. She is someone very important to me. Her breath catches. The room blurs for half a second. It is only pretend. She knows that. She repeats it silently. But the way he says it does not feel like acting. As the couple walks away, Adrian glances at Lena, noticing the conflict in her expression. Do not worry, he says softly. We are almost through the evening. But Lena is not worried about the evening. She is worried about the way her heart reacts every time he looks at her like that. And the night is still unfolding, one slow step towards something neither of them agreed to feel. The longer Lena and Adrian remain in the gala crowd, the more the night feels like a strange dream. Guests glide past them like waves, smiling, whispering, analyzing, building a story about a couple that does not really exist. Yet every time Adrian's hand steadies at her waist, or his voice lowers to guide her, the performance feels less like acting and more like something dangerous and real. A soft melody begins from the string quartet. A few couples move toward the center of the ballroom as the lights dim slightly. Someone near them says, "It is the perfect song for a slow dance." Lena feels her breath catch. She hopes Adrian will suggest they step outside, maybe get fresh air, maybe wait for the next speech. But instead, he turns toward her. "Lena," he says gently, "they expect us to dance." Her heartbeat flips. Dance? Adrian, I am not sure that is a good idea. If we avoid it, people will talk, especially Evan. He extends his hand the same way he does when signing an important agreement, calm and steady. Just trust me for a moment. Trust. She has been trusting him all evening, maybe more than she should. Slowly, she places her hand in his, and he leads her toward the center of the ballroom. The music settles into a warm, slow rhythm. Adrian places one hand on her waist, the other holding hers. His touch is careful, respectful, almost hesitant, as if he is trying not to cross a line neither of them defined clearly. "You are trembling," he murmurs. "I know," she says quietly. "I am not used to any of this." "Then we will take it one step at a time." He guides her through the first movement, and to her surprise, she follows naturally. His steps are confident, but not demanding. His gaze stays on her, not the room, not the cameras, not Evan watching from a distance with narrowed eyes. For these few moments, it feels like the noise of the gala fades into a soft blur around them. "You are doing very well," Adrian says. The simple praise sinks into her like warmth. She tries to look away, but her eyes return to him on their own. The way he is looking at her is nothing like the sharp, calculating CEO she sees in the office. His expression tonight is softer, almost vulnerable. She wonders if he realizes it. As they turn slowly across the floor, Lena hears someone whisper, "They look perfect together." Adrian notices the comment and leans down just slightly, so only she can hear him. We are convincing them. But Lena feels her chest tighten. It is not only the guests they are convincing. When the song ends, Adrian releases her carefully, as if his hands have memorized the shape of holding her. The spell breaks, and the sound of applause fills the room. Lena steps back, needing air, needing space to remember what is real and what is not. Adrian watches her closely. Would you like to step outside for a moment? She nods, grateful. He guides her through the crowd and pushes open the balcony door. The night air is cool, brushing against her skin like a reminder that the world outside this performance still exists. For a moment, they stand in silence. Then Lena whispers, "Adrian, thank you for everything tonight." He shifts slightly, folding his hands behind his back. "You do not need to thank me. You needed help. That is not all," she says softly. "You have protected me more tonight than anyone has in a long time." Adrian's jaw tightens, as if the words land somewhere deeper than she intended. He turns toward the city lights, gathering a slow breath. "Lena," he begins, "I want to be clear. This arrangement ends with this event. After tonight, we return to normal. You will not be affected by any of this." His tone is firm, professional, almost cold, a reminder of the agreement they never signed, but both understood. Lena forces a small nod. Of course, but somewhere in her chest something sinks, because the more she tells herself it is only pretend, the less convincing it becomes. Inside the ballroom, applause rises again. A new speech is beginning. Adrian opens the balcony door for her. She steps back into the golden light, steady on the outside, unsteady on the inside, and she has no idea that the most complicated part of the night is still ahead. The applause from inside grows louder as Lena and Adrian step back into the ballroom. The air feels warmer now, thicker, as if the room has been waiting for them. Adrian maintains a polite distance as they walk, a subtle reminder of the boundary he re-established moments earlier on the balcony. Lena feels it immediately, the shift, the coolness, the line drawn. It should make everything easier, but instead it sits heavy in her chest. A spotlight moves to the stage where the host begins announcing donors and sponsors. The crowd turns that way, giving Lena a moment to breathe. She tries to blend back into the room, to disappear into the role of employee again, but whispers echo behind her. That is Adrian Cole's girlfriend. She is stunning. Do you think it is serious? The comments swirl, and although they are harmless, they only remind her how fragile this pretend relationship is. One wrong word, one wrong assumption, and everything she has worked hard for could crumble. She glances at Adrian. He stands tall, attention fixed on the stage, expression composed. He looks like the man she knew before tonight. Controlled, self-contained, untouchable. It should comfort her. It does not. The host's voice suddenly sharpens with excitement. Tonight, we would like to recognize a few standout executives whose leadership has shaped this year's success. Please welcome Adrian Cole. The room erupts into applause as Adrian steps forward. He gives Lena one brief look, unreadable, before walking to the stage. She watches him ascend the stairs, shoulders squared, posture perfect. He transforms under the lights into the version of himself the world knows, the CEO whose name turns heads and moves markets. Lena stands at the edge of the crowd, hands clasped, heart unsteady. Adrian speaks into the microphone with calm authority. "Thank you. It is an honor to support this organization and its mission. Tonight is not about me. It is about generosity, community, and responsibility." His words carry easily, filling the room. Lena notices how effortlessly he commands attention, how naturally people lean in when he speaks. She wonders how she ever thought she belonged beside a man like him, even in pretend. But then he pauses. His eyes drift across the room until they land on her. The contact is brief, but undeniable. Something warm flickers between them, before he turns his attention back to the audience. The moment is small, but it unravels Lena in ways she is not prepared for. When Adrian finishes, the crowd stands to applaud. As he steps down, several donors approach him instantly. He moves through them with quiet professionalism, but Lena can sense a tension in him, a subtle tightening in his shoulders. Eventually, he returns to her side. "Are you ready to leave?" he asks. She blinks in surprise. "Leave? Are you sure? You have more people to speak with." "I am sure," he says. You have been under enough pressure for one night. The sincerity in his tone shakes her. She nods as he places a guiding hand at her back and leads her toward the exit. But before they can make it through the doors, a familiar voice stops them cold. Evan. He steps into their path, arms crossed, expression sharp. "So that speech was lovely," Evan says, "but I still do not buy it." Adrian's jaw sets. "By what?" "The act," Evan replies. "This is not real. She is your employee. You expect me to believe you two are actually together?" His voice is loud enough for nearby guests to hear. Heads turn. Conversations quiet. Lena feels the air tighten. This is the moment she feared. Adrian steps slightly in front of her, his voice low but firm. "You do not get to question her integrity. Not tonight, not ever." Evan smirks. "Then prove it." The challenge hangs in the air like a spark ready to ignite something irreversible. Lena's breath stops. Adrian turns toward her, eyes steady, searching her face as if asking a question without words. And just as the silence stretches, the night, already fragile and burning at the edges, moves toward a choice that will change everything. Evan's challenge hangs in the air, sharp enough to split the room in two. A few guests slow their steps, sensing tension. The exit doors are only a few feet away, yet suddenly feel impossibly distant. Lena stands frozen, her pulse loud in her ears. She can feel Adrian's steady presence beside her, but she does not know what he will do. She does not even know what she wants him to do. "Prove it." The words echo again, louder this time, as if the entire ballroom is waiting for an answer. Adrian turns fully toward her. His expression is calm, but there is something behind his eyes that was not there earlier tonight. Something unguarded, something real. For a moment, Lena forgets there is an audience. It feels like the room fades to a blur, leaving only the two of them standing in a silence warmer than the chandelier lights above. "Lena," Adrian says quietly, "you do not have to do anything you are uncomfortable with." Her breath shakes. The care in his voice almost undoes her. But Evan scoffs loudly. "See? Because this was fake from the start." Lena feels something snap inside her. Not anger, but a final tug on a thread she has held onto for far too long. She steps out from behind Adrian, her voice steady, even though her heart trembles. "Evan, this is not about you anymore." Her words stun him for a second. But then he folds his arms and waits, confident she will crumble under pressure the same way she did months ago. She will not. Before she can speak again, Adrian moves beside her, close enough that she feels the warmth of his presence. "Lena," he says softly, "look at me." She lifts her eyes to his. Everything else falls away. Adrian's gaze is steady, sure, and surprisingly gentle. "Tell me what you want me to do," he murmurs. It is not a command. It is not a performance. It is an invitation. A choice. Her voice barely rises above a whisper. "I just want this to end." Adrian nods once, as if her answer is enough to decide everything. Then he turns toward Evan, his tone composed but edged with steel. "You asked for proof. Here it is." He faces Lena again, giving her a silent moment to step back if she wishes. She does not. Instead, she feels herself leaning toward him, as if pulled by gravity she can no longer deny. Slowly, Adrian lifts a hand to her cheek, his touch careful, almost reverent. Lena feels the room blur at the edges. She hears her own pulse, the hush of fabric, the quiet gasp of onlookers. And then, Adrian kisses her. It is not a dramatic kiss meant to impress a crowd. It is not rushed or forced. It is gentle at first, almost questioning, as if he is asking her again if she is certain. But when Lena's hand rises instinctively to his lapel, he deepens the kiss with a warmth that feels nothing like acting. For a moment, the ballroom disappears. There is only the quiet certainty of his lips, the steady support of his hand, the shattering realization that nothing about this feels fake. When Adrian finally pulls away, the room is silent. Evan looks stunned, his confidence stripped away. Several guests pretend to look elsewhere, but everyone has seen enough to understand the message. Adrian keeps his hand at Lena's back, grounding her as he speaks. Do not question her again. Evan's mouth opens, but no words come out. His date tugs his sleeve, embarrassed, and he finally turns away. Only when he disappears into the crowd does Lena realize she is still holding on to Adrian's suit jacket. She lets go slowly, her fingers lingering against the fabric. Adrian lowers his voice. "Lena, are you all right?" She nods, but her heart is not steady. The kiss burned through every boundary they set, every rule, every line. And now, the question neither of them is ready to ask hangs between them. If the kiss was fake, why did it feel so real? The answer will not stay hidden for long. The moment after the kiss feels suspended in the air, too fragile and too charged for either of them to touch. Lena steps back slightly, but her knees feel unsteady, as if the ground has shifted beneath her. Adrian's hand remains at her back for one more heartbeat before he lets it fall to his side. "Let us get you home," he says quietly. His tone is steady, but something inside it is different, warmer. Or perhaps she is imagining it because she cannot stop replaying the kiss, the softness, the certainty, the feeling that it came from somewhere real. They walk together toward the exit, slipping away from the watching crowd. The night air outside is cool against her flushed skin. Adrian signals for the car, and within moments a sleek black sedan rolls to the curb. He opens the door for her. "After you." Inside, the quiet feels almost intimate, broken only by the hum of the engine as the car pulls away. Streetlights pass in soft golden lines across Adrian's face. He looks calm, but there is a tension in his jaw, the kind that suggests he is fighting thoughts he does not want to reveal. Lena folds her hands in her lap. "Thank you for stepping in back there." "You should not have been pushed into a corner," he replies. "I will not allow anyone to treat you that way." The certainty in his voice sends a shiver through her. She wants to ask what the kiss meant, why it felt too deep to be fake. But the words will not come. Instead, she whispers, "I hope this did not complicate things for you." Adrian exhales slowly. "It complicated things for both of us." Those words settle between them, heavy with unspoken meaning. Lena looks out the window, unable to trust her voice. Everything inside her feels tangled. When the car stops in front of her apartment building, Adrian steps out first and offers his hand to her. She takes it, grateful for the steadiness. They walk to her door in silence, the soft glow of the hallway lights casting long shadows on the floor. At her doorstep, she turns to him. "Adrian, about tonight." He lifts a hand gently, stopping her. "Lena, listen to me. Whatever happened in that ballroom was part of protecting you, nothing more." Her chest tightens. She knew he might say that. She just hoped he would not. He continues, his voice even but distant. "We need to return to normal. I do not want this to affect your job or your peace of mind." Lena nods slowly. "Of course." But the ache in her voice betrays her. Adrian hesitates, as if he wants to say something else, but he stops himself. "Good night, Lena." "Good night." She steps inside and closes the door gently. The lock clicks into place, and the quiet apartment wraps around her. Only then does she let herself lean back against the door, pressing a hand to her lips. The kiss was not fake. She knows that now. But she also knows Adrian is burying the truth behind professionalism and boundaries. And somewhere deep inside, she fears the distance he is creating is not to protect her. It is to protect himself. The next morning arrives too quickly. Lena barely slept, her mind replaying every moment of the gala. The crowd, Evan's accusations, Adrian's voice steady beside her, and the kiss that felt far too genuine to dismiss as a simple performance. She tries to push it away as she walks into Cole Industries, but the office seems louder than usual. Conversations pause, eyes follow her. For the first time, she realizes how small a rumor has to be before it becomes fuel for an entire corporate building. She heads straight to her department, keeping her gaze low. But before she reaches her desk, the elevator doors open behind her. Someone calls her name. It is her manager. "Lena, Mr. Cole wants to see you in his office." Her stomach tightens. "Now?" "Yes, immediately." The walk to the top floor feels endless. When she enters the executive hallway, it feels even worse. Everything is silent except the faint hum of the city outside the giant windows. She knocks gently. "Come in," Adrian says. He stands near his desk, suit pristine, expression unreadable. The distance from last night is back, sharp, professional, and impenetrable. "Good morning," she says softly. Lena, close the door. She obeys, feeling the tension shift in the room. Adrian gestures for her to sit. She does, folding her hands tightly. "There are rumors circulating," he begins, "about us." She expected this, but hearing it aloud makes her chest ache. "I am sorry," she says. "I never meant to cause trouble." "This is not your fault," he replies immediately. "I allowed the situation to escalate. I should have handled it differently." His words are calm, but there is a weight behind them, a weight that feels like regret. Not for the kiss itself, but for allowing himself to cross the boundary he always keeps so firm. "I will speak to the board," he continues. "I will make it clear that you were not involved in anything inappropriate." "Adrian," she whispers, "you do not have to protect me like that." He meets her gaze, and for a moment she sees the man from last night, the man who held her as if she mattered. But then he blinks, and the walls return. "I have to keep this professional," he says quietly, "for both our sakes." The sentence slices through her. She nods slowly, even though it feels like something inside her is folding in on itself. He adds, "After today, we should keep our interactions minimal beyond work responsibilities. It will help the rumors fade." Lena forces a breath. "Of course," but her voice cracks, and she knows he hears it. Adrian looks away, his jaw tight. "You may go." She rises on unsteady feet, opens the door, and steps into the hallway. Only when she is out of sight does she let her shoulders fall. The kiss may have been real, but now Adrian is building walls higher than ever. And this time, she fears she will not be able to reach him. The rest of the week feels heavier than it should. Lena keeps her head down, focusing on emails, schedules, and reports. She does everything possible to appear unaffected, but the truth follows her like a shadow. Every time she passes Adrian's office, something inside her tightens. He keeps his word. He is distant, professional, unreachable. Rumors calm down, slowly dissolving into new office gossip. Yet the silence between them grows louder, stretching farther than the hallway that separates their floors. On Friday evening, as the building empties, Lena gathers her things. She tells herself she will go home, make dinner, and forget the ache that has been living in her chest since the gala. But as she steps into the lobby, the security guard glances up. "Ms. Hart, Mr. Cole asked me to let you know he is waiting for you outside." She freezes. "Outside?" "Yes, ma'am. Right out front." Her pulse jumps. She walks to the glass doors, each step echoing with uncertainty. When she steps outside, she sees him immediately. Adrian stands near the curb. No driver, no car, no barrier of power. Just him. His tie is loosened, his sleeves rolled, and he looks nothing like the impossible CEO who told her to keep their distance. He looks human. She approaches slowly. "Adrian, is everything all right?" He takes a breath, one that seems to come from somewhere deep. "Lena, I have been trying all week to convince myself that keeping my distance was the right decision." She folds her arms lightly, bracing herself. "It is. You made yourself clear." "Yes," he says, "but I was wrong." Her heart stutters. He steps closer, his voice low and steady. "I told myself I was protecting you, and maybe I was, but I was also protecting myself from something I did not want to admit." Lena barely breathes. "What is that?" "That kiss," Adrian says quietly, "was not acting for me, not even for a moment." The world seems to still around them. Cars pass in muted streaks of light, but she hears only him. He continues, his tone soft but certain. "I should have said this sooner. You deserved honesty. You deserved more than the distance I put between us." Her voice trembles. "Adrian." He holds her gaze. "If you tell me to walk away, I will. But if there is even a part of you that felt what I felt that night, then I want to start again. Not as your boss. Not as a pretend boyfriend. As a man who cares for you. Truly." Lena feels warmth rise in her chest, steady and undeniable. All week she tried to bury her feelings, but the truth breaks through now, clear and bright. "I did feel it," she whispers, "every moment of it." Relief softens his expression. He steps close enough that she feels his breath in the cool evening air. "Then may I do something I should have done without an audience watching?" She nods. Adrian lifts her chin gently and kisses her. This time, there is no pretending, no pressure, no crowd. Only truth. When they part, he rests his forehead against hers. "Lena, whatever happens next, we face it together." For the first time in a long time, she believes that. The fake relationship was only supposed to last one night, but the real one is just beginning.